As we talked about earlier in the show, several prominent conservative media figures were victims of swatting this week, prompting FBI Director Kash Patel to step in. So here to discuss this with us is Nick Sortor. He's an investigative reporter, and his family has been a target of these swatting efforts. So Nick, thanks for joining us. And it's kind of crazy to see everything that has unfolded this week. So take us through the events that have affected your family.
Well, I'm pretty strategic about my location, so it's very difficult for them to get a handle on me and figure out where I am at any given time. And so they kind of gave up trying to go after me. So they went after my family instead. They first my dad and my sister, and they continue to this hour actually to get random pizza deliveries. Doesn't matter how many times I tell the pizza delivery people to stop, they continue to try to deliver pizzas to their addresses, which, at this point, it's not spooky to my dad. He thinks it's like, okay, fine, you're going to keep doing it, and the pizza places are going to have to keep paying for it, I guess. But it was really terrifying for my dad when he was swatted initially, because he had never, I come from a blue collar family that they're not chronically on the internet. They're not constantly watching TV. And my dad had no idea what swatting was. This whole concept was totally foreign to him. So when a dozen cops start trying to break down his door in the middle of the night with guns drawn, you can imagine, he sees them surrounding the house with flashlights, looking in the window. You can only imagine the terror that causes. And that's the entire point here. They are trying to terrorize us and our families, to shut us up. That's where we're at this point. And as you saw, I was one of the first, but definitely wasn't the last. It's been happening to a lot of us, especially on X, in this past week.
So walk me through this again. I really want our audience to get clear on what's going on here. I mean, that they already are trying to go after you personally, but what you're saying is you're pretty careful and they can't find you. So then they start going after family members and tracking them down and having this happen to them. Does it come along with, messages and other forms of threats? Tell us more about that.
So right before this happened, my sister actually got an email calling me a Nazi, and she works for the government. I'll just say that much. And so they actually sent it to her government email, which was a very, very stupid idea, because now at this point, now you have government authorities looking at harassing, threatening emails being sent to government employees. So that opened up a new can of worms that brings other investigative agencies into it. And she's not, this is funny. She's not involved in politics at all, doesn't even agree with my politics. They just assume that she does. And so they harass her. And then they mentioned in that specific email that my parents were to blame for this. And then all of a sudden, both of them end up getting swatted. So.
Well, you wrote on X that we don't have time to wait, that there are more conservatives that are being swatted as we speak, that many aren't even revealed publicly, and that Pam Bondi must make it crystal clear that the DOJ will pursue these cases and innocent people will be getting killed if the FBI and DOJ don't intervene immediately. So what do you want to see done at this point?
No, I honestly, at this point, what I want to see is I want to see a strong indication from the DOJ themselves that they're actually going to pursue these charges. Because even if Kash goes, and Kash put out a statement earlier saying that he was going to be investigating it, I do trust Kash. I do think that he will actually do that, but it's up to the DOJ to follow through with that. If the DOJ won't pursue federal charges against people that are terrorizing families all across the nation, then Kash's work is going to be for nothing. So that's what I'm calling on the DOJ to do, and she has the opportunity to do it. She's about to do a press conference here very shortly. So she has the opportunity to actually send that message and let people know that this is not going to be just glossed over and, whatever, like's been done in the past. And, a lot of and I hate to say it, but there are a lot of Americans, especially on the conservative side right now, that don't trust Bondi. And this would be a very important time for her to act to regain some of that trust.
Yeah, and it's not just the conservative figures on X that are getting this treatment. It's Elon Musk and the Tesla dealerships all across the country. And our Glenn Beck had a lot to say about that earlier this week. Let's take a look.
You know, these attacks on these dealerships, in Portland, 350. Can we get Portland under control, please? 350 demonstrators, they go in and they just swarm this Tesla dealership. 9 people were arrested outside of the Tesla dealership in New York City. The same thing happened. And they're not peaceful. They're not like, singing songs, "We shall overcome, Tesla, we shall." That's not what it was. These people were targeting and trashing Teslas, and they're setting fire to Teslas. Trump was at the White House. He was buying a Tesla. He hates electric cars, and so do I, quite honestly. It's cool technology, but I hate them. I'm a car guy. I think Trump is the same kind of guy. But he said, "I'm writing a check. I don't want a discount. I'm writing a check. I'm buying one."
Now, Nick, the idea here is this is terrorism. The T word needs to be used. It is terrorism. And so when you look at what's happening to the dealerships, people bombing stuff, and then what's happening to you and your family and these threats, talk a little bit more about what motivates these people and to commit acts of terrorism. Like what is causing this, and do you think it's going to increase?
DOJ keeps, tiptoeing around the issue and just hoping that it goes away. I do think it's going to increase because nobody is seeing any consequences at all. They never have. And at this point, I'm glad that they arrested somebody for firebombing the Tesla dealership, but they arrested one person. And I don't even know who arrested him. I don't know if that was a DOJ. We have no idea. It probably was just a local police department that did it. And no words have been given about potential federal charges that this person is getting. And that's where we need to step in and utilize the DOJ for real crimes, real threats against health and safety and property. That we're getting. There are hundreds of people that are going around smashing windows at Tesla dealerships, invading them, firebombing them, shooting them up, literally shooting them up. And you haven't heard about any arrests or any of those. I don't know what we're waiting for here, because a lot of these people have been identified publicly, but so far, none of them have received charges besides one, and we don't exactly even know what they've been charged with. Bondi didn't really go into any detail as to what they were charged with and whether or not they're federal crimes or the state's charging them.
Yeah, Nick, we certainly reach out to you and your family and, all the well wishes that you guys can have to stay safe. But we will definitely be following up on this story because this is such an important story and something needs to be done, as you're saying. Thanks so much for your time today.
Appreciate you guys.
Matthew, when you look at this, our friend Brianna Morello, she's one of the people there, independent journalists on X, and she put out statements saying that, the guy who goes by Turd was swatted for the 4th time last night. She said many conservatives aren't willing to go on the record when they are swatted. She said she can confirm 6 instances in the last 48 hours, I should say. She said, what is the FBI doing about this? They hadn't responded at that point, but Kash Patel has since come out because Brianna and others are reaching out saying, what are you going to do about this? This is a serious issue, and it's something that's been going on the entire week, and we're only now seeing a response.
Yeah, this is the return of attempted totalitarian mob rule, right? There are very powerful interests who are organized, and most likely this is an organized effort, right? That's paid for by someone. And that kind of stuff, to me, that's where you introduce RICO. They should go back to BLM for this. This money is flowing in order to intimidate people, and crimes are being committed in order to do that. Think about what they're trying to stop here. They're trying to stop independent journalists who put out stories that they don't like, and they're going to threaten their lives and the lives of their family if they continue to do that in public. That's reprehensible. I mean, that goes right to the heart of the American experiment. It cuts right against the First Amendment. And so this is terrorism, mobster style behavior. If we tolerate it, it will grow. And I think that Nick is right in what he said. I think a lot of people like us are watching this, and of course, we're in a great position to act on it. We will keep pushing until they do something, because this really has to end. It's way past time that we get into who's doing this and why and start putting people behind bars.
Of course, we don't want this to happen. We would prefer that none of this would ever actually occur. But then if you are Pam Bondi, right, this is an opportunity for her to go out there and kind of say, hey, conservatives, I do see you. I will step out and actually try and help you in this instance, because right now, Pam Bondi is the only one that's in the administration that doesn't have like that stellar reputation at this point in the administration.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that she's done anything, wrong necessarily, but after the Epstein sort of botched release, and the fact that she was sort of an older figure on the right from Florida seemed fine, but from a different era, the questions are there. So we need to see action. There are a lot of great people at DOJ already. Some of them are still just getting confirmed, but she has enough power to go after this, and this is a litmus test. This really is a test for her in the Department of Justice right now.